We've all heard that tourism is down in Las Vegas.
Tourism in Las Vegas is in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions of dollars. Some are saying that could signal trouble ahead for the U.S. economy.
Well, that's right. There was a headline in Newsweek back on July 28th that said, quote, "Is Las Vegas in trouble?" The reason, obviously, our decline in tourism numbers, and it's not by just a little.
Very concerned because it's slow. When I drive down the strip going to work in the morning and I barely see visitors out there.
Stunning images of near-empty passenger planes are popping up on social media. These international flights have many tourists flying to the USA practically alone. Shauna Massengill flew from London to Chicago. Look, barely anyone on board.
We're never coming back to this city.
This June, tourism was down in Las Vegas by a whopping 11.3%. Is Las Vegas in a slump right now?
Definitely in a slump.
Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, is facing a crisis few saw coming. In the summer of 2025, the city lost over 4,300 jobs, and it's not just a temporary slump. International tourism has plummeted by 11%, and it's directly tied to the policies of former President Donald Trump. The tariffs and strict immigration laws he enacted have created a perfect storm for Las Vegas, driving away international visitors and leaving the city's tourism industry in shambles. What happened? How did the Trump administration unintentionally bring Las Vegas to its knees?
I love going to the U.S. I spend a lot of time there.
But now you're curtailing that.
Yeah, no.
All in direct response to what President Trump is up to.
Basically,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
In this video, we'll break down the data, policies, and real-world consequences of these decisions. Stick around to understand how these changes are reshaping one of America's most iconic cities, and why this could be just the beginning. Section 1. Las Vegas and the tourism collapse. Las Vegas is known as the entertainment capital of the world, drawing millions of visitors each year. But in 2025, things have taken a drastic turn. Over the summer, Las Vegas lost 4,300 jobs in industries like hospitality, construction, and restaurants. The cause? A major downturn in tourism. According to recent reports from AP News and Las Vegas Review-Journal, Las Vegas has seen a sharp decline in international visitors. Specifically, international tourism dropped by 11% compared to the previous year, with visitors from neighboring countries like Mexico and Canada taking a major hit. What's driving this shift? It's not just the lingering effects of the pandemic. There's a larger issue at play: economic policies put in place during Trump's presidency, including tariffs and immigration restrictions. These policies have created significant hurdles for both tourists and the labor force in Las Vegas. And the impact is far-reaching, affecting not just businesses, but the very people who depend on the tourist economy. Section 2. The impact of Trump's tariffs on Las Vegas. Let's start with Trump's tariffs. In 2018, former President Trump initiated a trade war that targeted China and other major economies, leading to the imposition of high tariffs on a variety of goods. While the focus was often on goods like electronics and steel, these tariffs also affected the tourism industry in ways many people didn't anticipate. For Las Vegas, tariffs raised the cost of travel for international visitors. Let's break it down. When airline tickets, hotel rates, and even entertainment costs become more expensive due to tariffs on international goods, the overall cost of visiting the U.S. increases. This made Las Vegas, a city known for its luxury experiences, less affordable to travelers from countries like Mexico, Canada, and China, all key markets for the city's tourism industry. Reports from major airlines like Air Canada and WestJet highlighted a sharp drop in the number of travelers from these countries. In fact, Air Canada saw a 31% decrease in travelers flying to the U.S., while WestJet experienced a 62% decline in flights to American cities, including Las Vegas. These tariffs created a snowball effect. Higher costs meant fewer international visitors, which in turn meant less spending in Las Vegas hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues. At the same time, businesses that relied on international tourism were forced to either increase prices or cut back on services to maintain profitability, further reducing their appeal. For the people of Las Vegas, particularly those in the hospitality and service industries, the impact was devastating. Fewer visitors meant fewer jobs, and many employees saw their hours reduced or were laid off altogether. While the trade war was framed as a strategy to protect American jobs, it had a counterproductive impact on sectors like tourism. In the end, the tariffs not only made travel more expensive, but also discouraged tourists from visiting at all. For Las Vegas, a city heavily dependent on the tourism economy, the consequences have been severe. Section 3. Immigration policies and the labor force. Now let's turn to another crucial factor: immigration policies under Trump's administration. Las Vegas, like many major cities in the U.S., heavily relies on immigrant labor to sustain its booming tourism and hospitality industries. From hotel staff to restaurant workers to construction laborers, immigrants make up a significant portion of the workforce that keeps Las Vegas running smoothly. However, under Trump's strict immigration policies, there was a noticeable shift. Harsher visa restrictions, increased deportations, and the overall uncertainty surrounding immigration status led to a decrease in the number of workers available for the service industry. This in turn created a labor shortage in Las Vegas, particularly in industries that rely on low-wage, hourly workers. Exactly the workers who are most affected by immigration restrictions. As visa programs tightened, many workers who had previously traveled from countries like Mexico, Central America, and even Asia found it much harder to get into the U.S. or stay here. For instance, many workers who had been working in Las Vegas for years were denied renewal of work visas, leaving hotels, restaurants, and casinos scrambling to find labor. The construction industry also saw a significant hit. Las Vegas has been in the midst of a massive construction boom, with several new hotel complexes, resorts, and entertainment venues under construction. But due to restrictions on immigrant labor, many of these projects were either delayed or slowed down because there weren't enough workers to fill positions. The immediate consequence of all this: a growing shortage of workers, particularly in the tourism sector. To make matters worse, the labor pool that remained was often understaffed, meaning workers were stretched thin, working longer hours, or handling more responsibilities than they could manage. This led to burnout and a decline in service quality, which is a critical element for a city like Las Vegas that thrives on customer satisfaction. And of course, as the job market tightened and immigrant workers became fewer, businesses were forced to cut hours or even lay off workers altogether. For 4,300 workers who lost their jobs this year alone, many were in the hospitality and service industries, with most of them being from immigrant backgrounds. The combination of these immigration policies and a declining labor force has placed significant pressure on Las Vegas, making it harder to keep the city's tourism economy afloat. Ultimately, Trump's immigration policies have not only contributed to fewer tourists coming to Las Vegas, but also to a shrinking labor force that can't meet the needs of a city that thrives on tourism. Section 4. Reaction from the community and government. So, how has the community and government reacted to this crisis? As the tourism industry continues to struggle, local businesses and labor unions in Las Vegas have been sounding the alarm. The Culinary Workers Union, one of the largest labor unions in Nevada, has been at the forefront, demanding action from both the local and federal governments to support workers affected by this downturn. Their message is clear: without immediate intervention, Las Vegas could see even more job losses, and the city's tourism sector could face a longer, more difficult recovery. Union leaders have called for financial relief packages, better worker protections, and increased support for businesses to help them weather the storm. But the response from local government has been mixed. While Nevada's lawmakers have acknowledged the severity of the situation, the federal government's involvement has been slower. Nevada Democrats have pushed for more stimulus funds and have advocated for a revision of immigration policies to allow more workers into the country. In particular, Representative Dina Titus has been vocal about the need to address the labor shortage and provide relief to industries suffering from the lack of workers. Despite these efforts, Congress has yet to pass significant legislation aimed at specifically aiding the tourism sector or addressing the broader impacts of Trump's immigration and trade policies. On the business side, some Las Vegas hotels and casinos have made attempts to support their workers through temporary wage increases, but this has been far from enough to sustain the workforce in the long term. For example, several hotels have raised wages to attract workers, but this doesn't solve the deeper issue of fewer workers available due to immigration restrictions. The local business community is also calling for a reconsideration of Trump-era trade policies, specifically the tariffs that have made it more expensive for international visitors to come to Las Vegas. However, without substantial federal backing, these efforts can only go so far. While local efforts are valuable, it's clear that a broader federal response is needed to address both the tourism collapse and the labor shortages that have affected Las Vegas. At the same time, tourists who would normally flood into Las Vegas are hesitant to visit. Many international travelers feel uncertain about their visa statuses, while others are simply discouraged by the rising costs of traveling to the U.S. What's also apparent is the need for long-term structural changes in the way the U.S. approaches immigration and trade relations, especially as they relate to tourist destinations like Las Vegas. Until these changes are made, the Las Vegas tourism industry may struggle to recover, and thousands more workers may find themselves out of a job. Section 5. Forecast for the future of Las Vegas tourism. So, what does the future hold for Las Vegas tourism? The answer isn't simple, but there are a few key factors that will determine whether the city can recover or continue to struggle. First, the global tourism industry is showing signs of recovery, with some regions expected to bounce back as early as 2026. But Las Vegas may not recover as quickly as other major tourist destinations. For one, the city's reliance on international visitors, particularly from Canada, Mexico, and Asia, means that changes in immigration laws and tariff policies are crucial. If immigration policies remain restrictive, Las Vegas could see fewer tourists, especially from regions that historically make up a large portion of its visitors. For example, visitors from Canada and Mexico account for nearly 30% of Las Vegas's international visitors. But with the high costs of traveling to the U.S. and the uncertainty surrounding visa status, many potential tourists will look elsewhere. Additionally, tariffs will continue to play a role in discouraging international travel. Even if the U.S. economy bounces back, the high cost of travel could still deter visitors from spending their money in Las Vegas. On top of that, there's the labor shortage. Las Vegas's tourism industry depends on a steady stream of workers, but without immigrant labor returning in full force, many businesses will struggle to provide the level of service that visitors expect. Hotels, casinos, and restaurants may find themselves cutting back services, reducing their hours, or even raising prices just to cover labor costs, which could turn away potential customers. Looking ahead, Las Vegas may need to consider new approaches to boost tourism and workforce sustainability. For instance, targeted policies that make travel to the U.S. more affordable and predictable could help draw back international visitors. More flexible visa programs, as well as incentives for businesses to hire locally, could help fill the labor gaps. But even with these changes, Las Vegas faces an uphill battle. If these policy shifts don't happen soon, the city could continue to face economic struggles for years to come. And if it takes too long for the tourism industry to recover, other cities around the world, like those in Europe and Asia, may take advantage of Las Vegas's decline, drawing tourists and workers away from the city. In the worst-case scenario, Las Vegas's tourism industry could take decades to return to its former glory. In conclusion, the collapse of Las Vegas tourism is a direct result of policies that have raised costs, restricted labor, and discouraged international visitors. Over 4,300 workers have lost their jobs, and Las Vegas is facing a long recovery unless drastic changes are made. If immigration laws remain rigid and tariffs continue to drive up travel expenses, the tourism industry here may take years to bounce back, if ever. The key to recovery lies in adjusting trade policies, reforming immigration, and providing relief to local businesses, changes that could reinvigorate not only the economy of Las Vegas, but also the broader U.S. tourism sector. The question now is, will policymakers act before it's too late? If you think Las Vegas can recover, or if you believe more should be done to support the tourism industry, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the economic situation in the U.S. and how it's affecting cities like Las Vegas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.